Good day, everyone, or evening. I want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for tuning in today to another show, another episode. Thank you so much. I have a wonderful guest with me, and he's someone that I've been knowing for many, many years. And not only knowing him for many years, he is a colleague as well. And what he does is just truly, truly amazing. And he's no stranger here to New Wellness TV with Dr. Lee. No stranger. I want to thank you so much for being here today, Dr. Jeffrey Benton.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I am blessed.
You are blessed.
Even though I had a bad hair day.
A bad hair day? Oh, my goodness.
And our show is on emotional stress and, can stress affect your health? But we're going to be showing some wonderful techniques. So I want everyone to get a pen and paper and just follow along. First, you're going to be following along because Dr. Benton and myself are going to be giving you some techniques and talking about some things as it relates to emotional trauma release and something that can happen immediately, right? Correct?
Yeah, they can notice a change immediately.
Yeah, and that's what we have to do because emotional trauma starts back from, this could be in childhood. And there's a lot of childhood traumas that a lot of people are not aware. So we're going to start off. But if you have any questions, and I really want some feedback, ladies and gentlemen, those who are watching, I want feedback. So either send it to me on Facebook or you can go to my website at newwellnesshealthcare.com and email me at drlee@newwellnesshealthcare.com. But I want some feedback from these techniques. I want to know how good you're feeling because before every show, I put God first and we pray about this. I pray about this, and I know my guest does the same thing. And we want to make sure that this is an edifying show, that it touch your heart to help you to heal. And we know that our emotions and things are weighing us down, especially past trauma, which kind of goes into the book that I've written. And the first chapter is Through the Eyes of a Child. And I actually go into a lot of the trauma and starting with a child through the eyes of a child because we know that's what that started. But Dr. Benton, tell me about yourself. Tell me about you. Who are you?
Who am I?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. I'm a California native.
Yes.
I was born from two parents that are from Europe. And interesting from your book chapter, For the Eyes of a Child, my parents both went through the Holocaust.
Okay.
And so I was actually brought up in an energy of anxiety.
Oh, yes. Uh-huh.
Not as traumatic as some, but at the same time, there was some energy.
I had mine too, so yeah, but that energy, yes.
It took me years, and then I don't really realize what that anxiety energy is until I don't get into a relationship. And then I feel skittish, and I start doing these, these involuntary behaviors and mannerisms.
Yeah, and we wonder, where is this coming from?
Where is this coming from?
Where is this coming from? And we don't know that a lot of this, because in my book, Written Before I Was Born is the title of the book. That's just the first chapter, Through the Eyes of a Child. We don't know where this is coming from sometime. Where does this all stem from? And what you're doing is just absolutely wonderful in helping people release the trauma.
Right.
So, but finish telling me a little about yourself and your background.
So, yes, I was born in Los Angeles through fabulous parents. And even though, they went through their own traumatic event, however, they did the best they could.
Of course.
And
I'm glad you said that because, not to cut you off, because a lot of times young people today, you have children, I have children, mine are a lot older than yours.
Yes.
But sometimes they don't understand.
Mine are so cute at this age. So.
Well, so are mine.
I know.
But I have darling grandchildren.
Oh, my
probably
goodness.
older than your children. So,
I'm sure
and I just had
yes.
a new grandchild. I just told you. She was born April 1st.
Oh, look
Easter.
at that.
Yeah.
Wow.
She was born April 1st. Yeah. A little girl, 8 pounds.
Oh, wonderful.
16 ounces. So I'm so glad.
Big babies. Big
so I have a total of 10 grandchildren. I love them all equally. I don't see them all as much as I want, but I love all of my grandchildren. I want them to know that today. But go ahead and tell me about.
So let's see. We just went on a little tangent, which was great. I love all these
Yes.
tangent conversations.
Yes.
But I wanted to say something about that tangent. So, okay, we'll get back on
No,
track.
it's going
now.
to come back because people need to know this is a relaxed environment, and we're dealing with stress, and it's in our talking. It's helping us unwind too,
Unwind, right.
and get through the whole process so we can help other people.
Right. And look, let us know if any ladies listening out there have bad hair days and how does that impact your day. So just like you shared that, you got out of the house and it didn't fall right or didn't sit right.
No, it didn't. It didn't come. I wanted to wear a hat today, but it's like, oh, that's not appropriate at all.
Well, and you look fabulous to me.
Well, thank you. But tell me about your sons. I mean, I know you have sons. So
I
tell me.
have. So I have two boys. One is 6 and one is going to be 4 in a few weeks. And they're big and bright, rambunctious.
I know.
Now, interesting. So my older son, I thought about this yesterday. My older son is a little more sensitive than the younger son. And I was thinking, like you really don't think about it. That's part of the personality. However, some research has shown that it could be if the mother was stressed during the pregnancy, then her increased cortisol levels and adrenaline levels could have been passed down to the child.
Yes.
And it might explain, because he's just more sensitive than the other boy.
What I have seen too in utero, it all starts in utero. So miasm is what we kind of look at in utero, what happens to a child. So whatever both parents, especially the mom, is going through before the child is even born,
Right.
it's going to change and kind of mold that child. And then when they're born, the connection. And I think what's happening now too, a lot of moms are kind of going to work early, and a lot of them cannot be stay-home moms. And then
in America.
In America, yes.
America.
And then there's a disconnect. There's a disconnect of the warmth and and their maturity because of the disconnect and not having that mother's nurturing. They could have the fathers as well, so don't get me wrong.
Sure.
Definitely could have the father, but it's a little bit differently with the mom. But we want to go through because mind-body healing is so powerful. As I have known this, and actually in my book too, I had to refer to it again, but I do have
You have your book here.
It's an audiobook, but it's a self-healing book, audiobook. And one component I really like because it's a guided meditation entitled Detox the Mind and the Body Will Heal. Now, this is something I developed in 1998. 1998.
Okay.
That's when it was on cassettes. And now it's on the MP3 now. And it happens to be on the Amazon. So the whole book is there, but the meditation is really powerful. Detox the mind and the body will heal. This is why you and I get along so well, because this is what you're doing now is mind-body medicine. And I've been dealing with that since 1990, probably 7.
Right.
So I'm just so thrilled that we're going to be discussing that because so many people are suffering, and this is how I work with my patients. So I'm going to turn it back over to you, and you're going to explain to me what it is you do in the application of mind-body medicine.
Right. In fact, my book is finally going to come out later this year.
Congratulations. High five.
High five.
I don't know if they can see our hands going across there,
That's
but
all right.
yeah,
Part of it.
Congratulations.
No, right. Heal your life with the emotional trauma release technique.
Yes.
So I finally have the second book editor. The
Okay.
first one didn't quite turn out the way I wanted.
It's okay. We just keep going until we get it right.
Until you get it
And
right.
if not, you just come up with a volume 2.
True.
Very
right.
true.
I got plenty of information. I already
know
have
you do,
enough
but
for the
don't make it
second
too
book.
long now. A friend of mine told me, and I know she's probably listening, she said over 100 page, it's time to go to volume 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe have part 3, volume 3. We'll see.
Okay, we'll see.
We'll see.
But let's tell me what prompted you to get into this line of medicine, because it's truly a line of medicine, mind-body medicine. So what prompted you to really venture into this, being a chiropractor?
So a couple of junctions in my life sort of has brought me here.
Mm-hmm.
So one junction is, why did I get into chiropractic versus mainstream medicine?
Mm-hmm.
Because whenever I was younger, when I was in my undergraduate, I worked for a successful orthopedic surgeon's office in Cedars-Sinai Medical Towers.
Okay.
And I was an administrative assistant, so I was helping out with a lot of the back office work, but I saw what an office works on. So the typical treatment protocol is either drugs, surgery, and or physical therapy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
Okay. And that's okay, but something inside me said there's something else. There's something more to it than just those three.
Right.
And so when I got to chiropractic school, I found what maybe that missing link is.
Mm-hmm.
It's the nerve connection. So whenever you have a trauma, there's a disconnect.
Definitely.
There's a disconnect that happens.
And we don't have to
muscle
say
guarding.
physical trauma. I don't want to, but we're talking about emotional trauma.
It could be physical, emotional, chemical.
Yes. Okay.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Any kind of stress on the body that is so intense that it throws the body into some disarray.
Yes.
Is probably a more correct version of trauma.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying that.
That's okay.
A lot of people think about physical and that, chiropractors deal with physical trauma.
Yeah. And I want them to know this is mental.
Yeah.
Because if you don't deal with the mental, when people were coming to me and they said, I want to detox, I would ask them, what are you detoxing?
Mm-hmm.
What level are we going to start detoxing? We're going to
Nice.
detox the mind first
Right.
of the negative thought patterns. And then we go through everything else. So
That's fabulous.
Yeah. So it's like peeling an onion. There's layers after layers. There's the physical layer. There's the emotional layer. There is the chemical layer. So when we want to heal, we have to go through all those layers so that we can heal. But you have to start with the emotion first.
You know what? And I believe that Kabbalistically, that's correct too.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look at Kabbalistic thought, they say that we are living in the 1%. Mm-hmm. So with the table here, these microphones, for someone to have design this microphone that I'm speaking into, how many people had to design it? How many corrections had to be made? And the design and the features, all these thought processes were all mental and emotional before we get the final product. And the same thing with disease. So that when you see a physical disease that we call a physical disease, we are actually looking at the culmination of a lot of stress,
Yes.
a lot of mind energy, and it has finally culminated into a physical manifestation. So to really start, where do you want to start at the beginning? Well, don't start by chasing the symptoms. Start by higher up, which is the emotional components, emotional spiritual.
Exactly, because with the emotions, and I don't care if it's fear, anger, things you have not let go of, especially when it comes to emotional, it is going to affect certain areas of the brain.
Absolutely.
So when you're going to affect, this is why it's called mind-body. But mind-body is going to affect certain areas of the brain. And when you start affecting certain areas of the brain, there's an issue. Because if you're going to have problems in certain areas of the brain that's going to affect the autonomic nervous system, then what you're going to do is you're going to have problems with the cortisol level.
That's right. The whole sympathetic dominance is what that whole cortisol and epinephrine
and it
ties into.
It just kind of goes back and forth. And this is why all of my cancer patients, unfortunately, I definitely take them through an emotional. I need to know what's going on. I need you to talk to me and let me know what's going on. And then sometime, we'll get into it later on the show, a lot of people are not aware of what they have suppressed. And we're going to talk about that a little later. We're going to talk about that later.
Okay.
But I want you to still tell me a little bit more about what it is you do, because we definitely want to get into the techniques, because that's why people are tuning in today to learn these techniques.
Okay.
So
let me talk about the second junction in my life
Go
and
ahead.
how I got to here. So now we sort of know how I sort of became a chiropractor, because I thought there's another way of doing it. And I have a cousin in Santa Barbara. He's actually a certified chiropractic neurologist. Phenomenal,
Very good.
mind-blowing, to how you tune up the brain. So normally chiropractors, you talk about the spine and the low back and the neck. But the brain is the central processing unit of the entire body. So, and there's advanced techniques how to tune up the brain. In fact, if you go to my website, there's a concussion protocol. We work on people who have concussions.
Yes.
Spin them around left, spin them around right, and see if the body can actually handle just turning left and turning right. A lot of people were in some accidents or
Yeah,
some trauma
we
and
had
walk
that.
sideways and walk up and walk down.
Down, yeah.
All
And I
these
had
things.
a doctor on who was actually a chiropractor that she had one of the techniques of just putting your hand straight out
Yeah.
and turn your head to the right and to the left and see
Yeah.
which side was weak.
Yeah.
So you know which side of the head the trauma
Right.
of the weakness is. So
I just love doing what I do because using these muscle tests,
it's easy.
it's easy and you find the answer right
I
now.
know, right away.
And you can fix it. If I
Yeah.
find it, I don't want to say fix it, do I? I can treat it.
We can let a person be aware.
They become
because
aware of it.
they feel the difference. They feel the weakness. And they say, okay, I could feel this because you're doing the muscle testing. And they can feel the weakness in the body, correct?
There's two things. They feel the weakness
Okay.
of the weak muscle test, but they also feel more alive when they're done. Because by
Powerful.
reconnecting what I'll call these as short circuits in the body. So you should be able to turn your head left and right and your muscle strength stays the same.
Exactly.
But if you identify that it is weak and then you find the pathway that needs to be corrected and correct it, then that pathway is now working more efficiently.
Yes.
And now the brain and body is working more efficiently. And then you walk out feeling more energized because now you have more life force energy, more chi available to have fun with.
Yes. So if you just tuned in, you tuned into New Wellness TV with Dr. Lee and my host here, my guest, Dr. Jeffrey Benton. And we're speaking on, can your emotions affect your health? And your emotion, we know the answer is yes. But I want to ask you that question because a lot of people are not aware of how their emotions are affecting their health. But then the trauma release is what we're going to be doing.
We're going to be doing. Right.
Yeah.
So let's go to this, the second big junction in my life. So I was dating someone for several years. And looking back, I think the connection was very, very intense. So I'd put that in a category of like soulmate connection because it was so traumatic
Yes.
when the breakup happened. And and I was stuck. Now, I admit I was stuck, and part of my realization of all this anxiety from my Holocaust sort of came out then because
Yes.
I wasn't able to commit.
Mm-hmm.
And she was sick of waiting. Says, oh my goodness. In fact, I sort of said, no, I think I need to date someone else. And she says, well, okay. And they go, no, I was wrong. I'm sorry. But then, God brought somebody else into her life who nurtured her teenage children and put her in some nice cars and homes and all
you would not have had your
that.
beautiful daughters because you and I know each other so long. I know the mother of your beautiful son. So
Yes.
you would not have had your wonderful sons.
That's true.
And, some things are just divinely to happen the way they do.
So it was a huge lesson. It was a huge lesson. And it was a huge test for me because I cried out to God. He says, no, I do love her. I mean, I distinctly remember like a question, do you really want her? And without hesitation, absolutely, I want her. And then I went through these series of tests, and there's like upper consciousness tests. I was just in my head for a few months, and I was actually following a lot of disciplines that were taught to me through the Kabbalah Center because that's where I was at the time. Because I tell you, if I wasn't there and going on this big high spiritual path, then I probably would have landed up in Thalian's, the Cedar Sinai Medical
well, one time you
Psychology did.
You did one time over so much stress. Don't look at me like you forgot now.
I never checked in there.
No,
I
you didn't
visited
check
people
in. No. But you it was a stressful moment in your life.
Oh,
but
sure.
They had to
There's
do
several.
with a sinner that we won't say
Yeah.
who they were.
That's fine.
No, I can't.
I got a cough to get that out of my system.
Okay.
Yes, that person.
Yeah.
Right.
So you did. And some people do because we don't know if our emotions are running us and controlling us.
Yeah.
Then we can feel like, you know what, I need to go have maybe a drink, or some people won't turn to alcohol; they'll turn to other things, and
Right.
they don't know why, because now they're at a down spiral, going downhill, and not knowing that, hey, it's my emotions that are kind of taken over. So when we grab hold of and say, okay, let me just take a step back, and this is where the techniques are going to come in handy that you're
Right.
going to be going over.
Sure.
So a person, if you feel like you're spiraling down, if you're going to spiral down, then these are some things that you need to do. And start doing the techniques, and they're very simple. Some of mine
They are so
simple.
amazingly simple.
And
We're
you
gonna share
feel
that.
the results. And you feel the results.
Right.
Yeah. So mine is a little different from yours, but we're
Right.
going to talk about yours today.
Okay.
And
I want to. Well, I definitely need to talk about yours. And you have this fabulous machine that helps analyze the body very
well,
quickly.
we're going to talk
We'll do
about that later because that's part of my commercial.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
because
Great.
and I'll tell you why, which is very important for me to include this into my practice. But I want to say that I really want to start off with you. I know you have a lot of information, but what's really important is for us to maybe, I don't want to lose any time, and I want people to make sure that they have enough time to learn the techniques. So
Sure.
you want to
Okay.
just kind of start as to where these techniques originated from, and how long have they been in existence?
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the techniques.
And what do they call?
Well, I call the technique the emotional trauma release technique.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's simple enough. Okay.
Simple enough. Yeah, it's like that's what I call it.
Okay.
Emotional trauma release technique.
Okay.
It's a little bit of a misnomer because it can actually help clear or neutralize physical trauma and emotional trauma.
Wonderful.
And a lot of people don't know about the distinction. Let me talk about the distinction as we get into the technique.
Okay.
So let's say you're get into a car accident.
Yes.
So you have the physical impact, the physical force and energy is running right through your body, and your neck and body gets whipped backwards and forwards, or however gets injured, and then you have soft tissue that gets injured. That's physical.
Physical. Yes.
And then, oh my goodness, how dare they? And then you have the emotions of like, oh my goodness, that is, that expletive person who ran into me, and I'm going to be late. I have to pick the kids up, and then all the emotional stuff comes in, and then if maybe that triggers an earlier childhood issue where you were thrown down or beat up or something, and it just triggers.
Yeah. And this
a
is when you
whole
start
host.
spiraling down.
And then it could start the spiral, right? So we have an emotional component, and we have I'll call the shock trauma component.
Okay.
And this technique helps deal with both of them.
Okay.
And so what I have to share with the audience deals with both, but I think it deals with the shock trauma component more. And so I think our engineer has some forms that I forgot to bring it to show you.
You're going to just look at them?
Okay. So whoever is watching this on Facebook,
Well,
on the
some
channel.
of it,
Right,
some of it is
perfect.
being watched, and keep in mind we are also radio. So we're radio, we're TV, we're at iHeartRadio. So a lot of this is not just going to be television.
Okay.
If you want to
We'll
see it
describe it.
live, you will go to my YouTube channel.
Oh, tell me your YouTube channel. Yes.
I was about to do that.
Sorry.
My YouTube channel is New Wellness TV with Dr. Lee on our YouTube channel. So if you're listening to the show and you want to see the techniques, and not just listen to them, because you want to see how this is going to work. So you will go to the YouTube channel and you'll be able to watch the techniques at your own convenience. So if you're watching the show right now and you're at work, which several people call me and said they're at work, and you don't have a chance to watch the show in its entirety, you can go to your YouTube channel tomorrow. And make sure you subscribe.
Okay. And what's your YouTube channel called again?
New Wellness TV with yours truly, Dr. Lee.
Okay. Fantastic.
Okay?
All right.
So make sure, because we have a lot of shows there that a lot of people have missed, and it's to really help us to grow and to learn.
Sure.
This is why we're here. So you want to start in with the techniques?
Right. Okay. So I'm going to describe it.
Okay.
So whoever's listening in, and if you have a few moments, I want you to think of a traumatic event in your life. And once you think about that traumatic event, you will feel a certain amount of anxiety in your body. And I want you to rate that anxiety. So we're going to rate the anxiety. So 0 is no anxiety, 10 is agonizing, and 9 is unbearable, and then uncomfortable comes in there. So I want you to get a number, put a number in associated with that traumatic event. Okay, and you can do one as well. And you don't have to tell me what the event is. Just think about what that event is Lock it in. And what is that number of anxiety associated with that event? I was working with my massage therapist for these dance camps that I do, and she thought about a relationship, and she started crying. I mean, she went from feeling great to a 10 because our body locks these things away. Our mind locks these things up. Mm-hmm. And I did the process with her, and she felt so much better, like from like a 10 to a 5 in a matter of like a few minutes.
So what was she able to do? And keep in mind, you don't want to have somebody to go through a traumatic event where they kind of lose control.
Well, I want
you want to be in total control.
Yeah. So if someone has a traumatic event that they start to cry, well, either don't think about that event or make sure you're in a safe place before you want to go there.
Don't do this driving down the street.
Don't do this driving down the street.
No.
Right.
So.
Okay. So then after you think about, so you're thinking about the event and you're thinking about the trauma, I'm going to have you do a simple breath technique right now. I want you to take a deep breath in and tilt your head back like this. Exhale and come forward. Do it again. And come forward. And I want you to think about that event and do it again, but close your eyes this time. Breath in. Exhale and come forward. Good. And I'm going to have you repeat that and tap your heart chakra at the same time. So pretty much tap your heart.
Like Tarzan?
Sort of, yeah, but lightly, not real heavy. Tap your heart, take a breath in, tilt your head back. Exhale.
Eyes open or closed?
Eyes open, and then do it again with your eyes closed. Breath in. Exhale. Okay, good. So I want you to check back into your body and your mind and think about that event and put a number on it. Chances are going to be very good that the number now will drop a couple of notches. It'll go, usually 2 is the average, but it can go all the way down to 5 or
Now, is
9.
this a technique you want to do daily or a repetitious, like 3 times a day, or until you get to 0?
You should actually do, I don't know if you can get to 0 by just doing this technique. Because there's some deeper traumas that we would have to probably see you face to face. And this is one thing I can give the audience to do right now, and it's going to work. But let's say you're driving down the street and someone cuts you off or honks at you and getting upset. This is what you do, and I do it when I'm in traffic and someone's acting like...
You don't close your eyes.
Well, I'm on the brake. I could... It's that quick.
You don't hyperventilate.
Okay. I just breathe quick.
I'm just asking. Okay. When you have people watching,
that's what I do.
Sometimes people,
when you have if something, if you're driving and a big explosion happens, not around you, or a big car crash, and it doesn't quite affect you, but the shock of it, because it's in your proximity. Like everybody in America has this assumption that everything's gonna work out the perfect way it is. Like, we're gonna go to work, we're gonna make some money, we're gonna come home, we're gonna be with our family.
I don't know what planet they're on. I don't know anybody who feels that way.
But life throws curveballs at you.
Yes.
And we need to have a way to deal with the curveballs, so it doesn't knock us down and it doesn't throw us off our track.
You brought up something kind of interesting about car and people cutting you off. And the easiest way for me to kind of deal with that, and everybody deals with things differently. The breathing is what I do as well. Yeah. But not so much tilting, because I got to watch traffic, because they might put on brakes and whatever, and you got to keep your eye on the road. But I do the breathing, and I just send prayers out to that person that they don't kill themselves or someone else. They do not have an accident and kill themselves or someone else. And I send out positive prayers for that person. Instead of being upset with them, I am grateful that I did not hit you, and you did not hit someone else, and that you have a blessed day. Okay. So if you put that out, because I'm going to share this really short story, if you don't mind. Sure. There was a car accident on freeway, and traffic was really piled up. This is through Dr. Cherilyn Mace. Okay. Okay. So there was a story where it was a pile up on the freeway, terrible accident, and the lady, 3 cars ahead, was unconscious. So the car back, because people were late going to work,
Sure.
and she didn't see the person. The third car behind said, "I'm just going to pray for that person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to pray and meditate on that person that they be okay."
Okay.
So about a year later,
Mm-hmm.
the lady that was in the third car back
Mm-hmm.
received a knock on her door at home.
Uh-huh.
Now, this is during the time where people could find out your license plate number. And the lady was standing there that was in the car that was struck. And she
That was struck the car 3 cars ahead.
ahead.
Right.
And she's standing there with all these flowers, beautiful flowers.
Mm.
And she knocked on the lady's door. She said, "I have these flowers to give you." And she said, "Why?" She said, "Because you were the one on the freeway that prayed for me." She said, "How did you know that?" She said, "Because there was a bright light shining from the heavens, from my car to your car. And I saw your license plate. And for some reason, it just embedded in my memory. And when I came out the coma, I wrote the number down, and I came to find you to thank you for praying for me."
Okay.
So the power of prayer and long distance prayer, we can do so much. So this is what I do. After hearing that story many, many years ago, when I see things happen, I just start sending out prayers to that person. And instead of, most people want to swear and do all these other things.
Get reactive.
And
Reactivity.
very reactive
Right.
and get upset.
Right.
And I just said, well, you know what? I didn't have an accident. They didn't have an accident. So I'm just going to pray they have a great day.
Right.
So we have to find ways to release that, because I had malignant hypertension in the past.
Aha.
You know, it was very easy for me to throw a 230 over 160 blood pressure.
Oh, my goodness.
So I cannot let little things do that to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was many, many years ago. That was after divorce and going through stress. So I had to find ways and techniques that work. And then working with myself, I was able to work with other people as well. And it keeps you calm. So even though I had a bad hair day today, I'm very calm.
Yes.
Correct?
Thank you.
Okay. So we don't let those things carry over and beat us down. So we have to find a way, especially when I'm working with a person and trying to help them to fight diseases, or the quote unquote diseases, you know, things that are, I don't like the C word, so I have quite a few people with that. And we find a way how we can manage this to heal. Because I've
Right.
seen people detox the mind
Uh-huh.
so the body could heal,
Sure.
and they start releasing all the other problems as they relate to, I don't like the C word, so I'll just say abnormal cells.
Abnormal cells. Yeah.
So we
cells
start
that
to-
lost the
yeah.
on-off switch.
Yes, so we have to start healing. And when people do that and say, okay, because the most important question I ask people are you happy?
It's a good question.
Okay, are you
And
happy?
I ask them, do they have enough hugs? Do they get enough hugs every day?
And do you feel loved?
Yeah.
That is so powerful. And I had a gentleman sit in my office, and he said, his wife was sitting there as well, and he said no. And he went through a process, and he said, I'm from a family of 20 people, 20
Wow.
sisters and brothers, not here in California, but I feel loved by them. But where I live, I don't feel loved. And when he made up his mind what he was going to do, it's amazing, because it was liver cancer with a metastasis to the bones. PET scans have been done. And I know we didn't do a lot of treatment. We do a lot of prayer work, because I know the power of healing through prayer.
Yeah.
We can call it energy medicine. We can call it laying of hands. We can call it's so many names.
I hope you can join me at the Omni La Costa Resort.
You know,
You know?
but it's so many things that we could do
Yeah.
to help a person to heal. And this is why people walk away and they heal so well.
Okay.
Because we have to get to the root cause, and that's what we're here today to talk about, and that's the emotion,
Right.
the emotional trauma.
So I want to add, so that's all correct and true. I just want to add why I have people tilt their head back.
Okay.
I think
I was going to ask you.
I
Yes.
think it's the bridge connector that helps the power of prayer messages get through, because if you can clear traumas, then the messages get through easier.
Okay.
So I learned, I call it shock trauma, the startle reflex. So you can Google this and look it up. There's peer-reviewed
Startle
literature.
reflex?
Startle reflex.
Okay.
And what happens when you are startled,
Yes.
two things happen subconsciously.
Yes.
You look up and you stop breathing. It's like this.
It's true.
It's
That's true.
Okay. And that's the mechanism that allows these traumatic events to get into our system.
Yes.
And that's why we have to reverse it. So I need to have the person think about the event and then reverse it. So take a breath in and tilt your head back.
Eyes open.
Eyes open, and I do it both.
Okay.
Eyes open and eyes closed.
Mm-hmm.
Eyes open for the conscious mind and the eyes closed for the subconscious mind.
Okay. Very good.
So that's why I would add tilting your head back and breathing to the prayers that you're doing.
Wonderful.
Okay.
And we all have a destination where we're going to arrive to, but we could take many turns.
Right.
But as long as we reach that destination, which is so powerful.
Right.
I like that.
So I just wanted
Thank
to
you.
help your audience and all the healing be just more effective.
We're helping people, not
Right.
just my audience. We're helping
Right.
people all over the world.
Oh.
And that's what it's all about.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. And I'm so grateful that we have that connection. That's what doing the show for me is all about. It's connect with people to let them know I don't feel after 2 comas myself and the things I've gone through. I just don't like to see people suffer on any level. But you have to find out and make your mind up. How am I going to deal with this? How am I going to deal with it and stay happy? If I'm going to stay in this situation, how am I going to stay happy? So when things happen to us as a child, I had one little incident where I just had a hard time asking for money.
Yeah.
And it was through the eyes of a child, me writing this myself, it stemmed from a stepfather whom I've asked. I asked him that day for, I think it was 10 cents or a quarter or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in elementary school, and he looked down at me. He said, I don't have money to give you.
Mm-hmm.
And it was okay if he didn't have it. But before I could leave the room, my sister, who is about 4 years younger, she asked her father, may I have some money? And he reached down in his pocket, and he gave it to her.
Yeah.
And something hit me.
Yeah.
It hit me to the core.
Yeah.
That I said I would never ask another man for money. So to know where it came from.
Sure.
We have to sit down and be truthful to ourselves.
Yeah.
And if we do that and do the exercises, a lot of things will come up and say, oh, so that's why I'm that way. Well, actually, I learned that through Landmark Forum.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That realization.
Yes.
So, I had a realization, and they're all different. So,
yes.
In my office about manifesting money, because I know the value I have is tremendous. And it just wasn't manifesting. And then doing a technique with an associate, I have an older brother, and he isn't as successful as I am. He's sort of stuck. And there was something subconscious that I said, it's like I can't be more successful than him. So I planted this seed. And so if he's not successful, then how can I be?
Yes.
And once I realized that, I felt just something lift, because I did a lot of work about money and finances, muscle testing and emotional trauma release around it. And then, wow, that felt like it was like one of the last locks that needed to be opened up.
Yes.
And it's like everyone makes their own subconscious ideas. Like, I don't ever want to get money from, you said a man, but that's half the world's population. So.
Well, even I was that way when I was married. I didn't even like to ask him in the very beginning. Well, I got married at 18, so, but it was just a thing of asking for. I didn't like to ask for anything. Some of that is still there. That's why I work the way I do. But I'm not quite like I was when I was, in elementary school. But, we learn about ourselves. And that's what it is, taking off that blindfold and find out, why am I this way?
Right.
Why do I have a problem with money, and finances? Why is it that...
Or relationships.
Or relationships.
Right.
Why is it? Do I marry people like my father, who was kind of disconnect? And do I marry people and get involved with people who are sort of disconnect? So if we try to find out who we are first and work on ourselves first,
right,
then we can say, this is what you want to mirror what you want.
That's true.
You want to mirror that.
Right.
So that
our thoughts and our emotions will dictate our reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And visualize it. Visualize it.
Yeah.
So we don't have a lot more time. We have some. I don't know how many other techniques you have that you want to share.
That's the number one thing to share with your audience.
Okay.
Now, if some of your audience has depression, so this technique and what you shared is important. But there's a study that was just published recently in PLOS One, where they showed that if you take, I believe it's 248 milligrams of magnesium daily, it'll be more effective than a lot of the drugs on the market for depression.
That's wonderful to know. Okay.
It's, I think, Lancer School of Medicine.
What type of magnesium? So we want to make it clear that I don't want people to have loose stools.
You know what? I'll have to send you that information off the air. I have to go read the article again.
Yeah, and we'll place it on Facebook so a person is looking at that. You can add it to how much.
Right. So adding magnesium and moving around. I mean, I have a patient that after had a bad car accident, and he was at work, so like his entire world, he's been depressed ever since.
Yeah.
And he was in the office, and I had him do exercise. And it just helps get you back into your body.
Yeah.
So exercise, breathing, some magnesium, prayer.
Yeah. And it's amazing.
Relieve some depression.
Yes. It's amazing listening to the person. You know, I found out working in hospitals and then being a patient myself through the years, people don't listen. You have to really take a good history. And if you listen to the person, you can almost pull out exactly where they're stuck.
Yeah.
Where are they stuck? And so that's going to bring us to a little commercial we're going to do.
Sure.
And I'm going to tell people as to why I'm doing this voice health analysis with my patients. So we're going to watch the video first.
Oh, good. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Here it comes.
How are you doing? Your most likely answer will be, I'm okay or I'm doing well. But are you really completely aware of your physical and mental condition? Do you really know how you're doing? You can do everything to stay healthy. You do sports, eat healthy food, take extra vitamins and minerals. But how will you know if it's enough? Simple way to check your mental and physical condition. Non-invasive and easy to do. You can keep track of the effects of your efforts and changes in your lifestyle. The voice analyzer makes it possible. After 30 years of research, we found that it is possible to retrieve important information out of your voice by analyzing the frequency spectrum of your voice recording. Like an undamaged guitar will sound differently than one with a crack, the same happens with our body. The voice frequency pattern changes when there's something wrong. Your voice shows your cracks. In an easy-to-read graphical overview, your results are separated into different aspects including emotions, mood, vitamins and minerals, organs, blood, immune system, and muscle activity. By keeping track of your body, you can make the best choices for yourself, and you may prevent problems in the future. You will get the best out of yourself with a voice analyzer. And from now on, you can give an honest answer when I ask you, how are you doing?
So it's much more to this voice analyzer. For the physical, emotional component, it's amazing. There's an area of this too. It lets you know if the body is balanced. It shows me your homeostasis. But I haven't.
And people will be attracted subconsciously to people who have a clear, open heart.
Right. But
it's all vibration.
You don't have to. See, the thing is, sometimes we suppress things. And I've been working a lot. But what happens with this machine, all you do is count to 100 with this particular machine. You count to 100, and then it's going to tell me everything what's going on with you emotionally, physically, and it goes through everything. And your character. Your character is very important as to who you are. So it picks up all of this. And I've done, and they all call me and say, you know what? This was correct, 99%.
That's a pretty high percentage.
That's a pretty high percentage.
Sure.
And the good thing about it, it's going to show you exactly. So what it's doing is dealing with the subconscious. Because I have a lady that came to me years ago, and she forgot to explain. She told me something that happened in her life. It was very traumatic, very. And I saw her 3 months ago, and she's going through still some traumatic things. And I brought it up. You know, I said, well, that was one that was years ago. She said, oh no, I don't remember that. But in doing the voice analysis, it picked it up. It picked it up. So she said, okay. So it's going to show you. So there's like one side is positive, which is not bad. Your drive is not bad. How is your drive?
Right.
So it picks up a lot of information. It graphs it for you. So next time you come, you can say, okay, it doesn't make it bad or good, but are you high stress? Are you fearful? You know, so it's going to graph all those things out. So then how am I going to deal with that? So emotional release will be really great. Now we could show you the emotional release to do what was showing up here. Because this is going to definitely show me what's happening. And then it can show you organs as well. So it shows me in the intestines, the colon. There's some people that had some things. But this is not a one-stop type of scan I might do.
Well, it's a tool.
It's a tool.
Sure.
And then from there, I might need to order an ultrasound. I need to do lab work. I need to do some other things as it relate to the medical component to make sure that a person actually, let's see a little bit more. Because one lady has this swelling in her abdomen, could not figure it out. And what came up in this report was the head of the pancreas.
Really?
Was,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, hyperactive. Hyperactive of the head of the pancreas.
So pre-diabetic? Or something else?
It was a little bit more. I don't want to go into it.
Okay.
But on the ultrasound, it was enlarged.
Yeah.
There was some swelling there. So we take it other steps, and then maybe I might need to send her to an internist. I might need to do this, but it's actually a referral and follow up even more and more. So a person can find out, okay, this is what's going on with me, but why? I have a young gentleman who didn't know that he just suppressed it, that he was molested as a child. And so this came up in the report. It also came up in the report that he was not loved by his father. He was loved by his mother.
Okay.
Yeah. So those type of things sort of helped. But the homeostasis will let me know just how well your organs are, just how well you are balanced socially, physically, emotionally, how balanced you are through the homeostasis. So I'm so happy.
That's and only takes, you have to count to 100.
You just count to 100.
Just count to 100
Just
and
count
then
to,
it analyzes
count to
everything.
100.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we
Okay.
can find this out. And it's just been phenomenal. And
I want to take this test.
Just come do it today.
I'll come
Let's
do
do
it
it today.
Okay.
And the good thing about it, doing your emotional release,
Yeah.
it goes hand in hand with each other.
Right.
You know, because I do the prayer
And I love
work.
having more objective findings and then
Yes.
before and after. That'd be great.
That would be wonderful. So we're going to do some research.
Yeah.
So any of you listening would like to be part of a small group of people, we're going to do some research. Let's have you come and let's do the research and see if we can get you feeling much better.
Yeah.
So that
Okay.
should not be a problem.
Okay.
So it's just amazing. This is a wonderful tool. And the other is a cardiovascular, so it shows more of the adrenal system.
Right.
But we'll talk about that later. So blending those two together, then I do the epigenetics, which also coincides. It kind of blends in with all two, which is amazing. So just putting it all together and making it all happen is really wonderful. I think people are really just cheering all this information on, and you're
This stuff is
sitting
great.
here. It's just been amazing. So I'm just really, really grateful for what we're doing right now. So the technique, just walk people through again in case they're just now coming on. I want everybody to, because this is simple, and I could feel the difference.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
and again,
Okay.
with the head tilted, the
Yeah.
startle effect, I love that. So let's do that again.
Okay. So should I just explain it again to the whoever's
Very
listening
quickly.
in?
We have a couple of minutes.
Okay, so whenever you're going through life and you're having a bad moment, all you have to do, bad hair moment,
Yes.
you know, the boss talks down to you and
Step away, go to the restroom,
step
and just
away,
do it.
go to the restroom, and just on the way to the restroom, it's just that quick. Take a breath in, tilt your head back,
Hold it.
and let it out.
Let it out.
I don't even
yes.
want you to hold it, just in and
Just
out.
in and out.
Just
Okay.
like, just let it cycle through.
Okay.
So, and out.
And even doing that, it's going to bring down your heart
So,
rate,
right.
your blood pressure. I use that a lot for people with blood pressures that are elevated when they come into clinic.
Right.
The breathing. Yes.
And what I love about this is because we actually have some scientific validation of why it works.
Oh,
'Cause
yes.
Up until now, it's like, yeah, just take a breath in, it works. Well, here's why.
Mm-hmm.
Because we are reversing the startle reflex.
Yes. Yes.
So, and I'm really excited to actually use your tool to further validate, because we're going to publish a study, you and I.
Oh,
about
wonderful. I love
this.
it. I love it.
Right.
So please, if anyone want to be part of that study, we don't have to use your name.
We
Just
don't.
give me a call at 310-929-2408 or 310-419-4300 and let me know and come on in to the office and let's do this part of the study.
That'd be great.
It'd be great. It'd be
Sure.
absolutely wonderful.
Yes.
Yes.
Exciting.
Yes. So, and the thing is, you're going to see the difference, but not only see the difference, you're going to feel the difference.
Right.
It's all about feeling the difference.
And I actually have something even better. Just like, it doesn't get better than this, but I used to call this technique facelift from within. Because as we release these stored up traumas,
Yes.
and you have more life energy flowing, you can see yourself get younger. And I take pictures of patients before and after.
Okay.
So it'd be great, because I take it before, let them do the voice analysis before, do the technique, and then we can take the picture after and do the voice analysis after and see what shifted.
Wonderful. I do a lot of work on myself, so being a grandmother of 10, I am just so grateful that I don't look my age.
You don't look your age.
And energy-wise, it's just great. But I
Right.
program myself the night before for, a blessed, grateful day and just full of joy and excitement and new things. And even though I know you, we had something new to share with the world. So I am so grateful. So I want you to take one or maybe 30 seconds quickly and look into the eyes of my audience there. What do you want to leave them with?
I want to leave your audience with health and prosperity. And I think health is the most important thing, because you can always get your prosperity later.
Look into their eyes.
Okay. Health without wealth, it doesn't work. So let's make sure that we get your health and your vitality balanced, and and the world is your oyster. That's what I want to leave you with. And that's what Dr. Cherilyn Lee and myself do. This is our passion. This is what we want to do. We help people get back on their life track. So come on in, come see her, get on the machine, come see me. We're here to serve you.
Yes. And oyster, I love that. So you can be vegan and it's okay. Okay?
Yes.
Yes. I just want to let people know that.
Oh, I don't eat oysters.
I know. I don't either. I just love the little pearl inside.
The pearl inside. That's
okay.
right.
So I want to thank everyone for tuning in today to New Wellness TV with Dr. Lee. And those who are listening, I am so grateful. Please visit our YouTube channel. I want to thank Jarvis, who is just an absolutely amazing producer here. And all those wonderful pictures you see is done by no other than my director here, producer, Jarvis. So I want to thank you, Jarvis, as always. I'm happy I have a smile over there, because smiles are healing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So everyone tune in next week. And before I leave, what do I always say? How do I close my show? So repeat after me, please. But today, too, hug somebody. And if you can, give them those smiles. Smiles are free. But repeat after me. I am so grateful
so grateful
that I am
a magnet
for miracles. Have a wonderful, blessed day.
Welcome. Join us every Wednesday live at 11 a.m. for New Wellness TV with Dr. Lee. Remember, healthy mind, healthy body.